Good evening or good morning if you're on the East Coast, but good evening to the rest of you. This is our World Series review, thoughts, opinions, whatever. And also, Alex Knight is here with me, so he'll be reviewing as well. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. So let's get started with we'll get to last night, but let's go over the rest of the series first because oh my god, that was last night a disaster. But everyone knows about that. But
Mhm.
let's get to game one because I thought game one was very winnable for the Yankees. I know
Yeah,
you, but game one was very winnable.
they were 1 out away.
hmm And and the offense didn't do well. They were up. They were up,
Mhm.
and they were 1 out away. Stanton hit a home run. Judge didn't do anything. I mean, Judge was just until game four, or three, and game four, he was useless.
Well, game 4, he finally had an RBI, and then
Yeah,
game 5, he finally broke through.
yeah. But the first questionable decision of Boone in this series is bringing in Nestor Cortez to face Freddie Freeman. Can I ask where was
Well,
Tim
he
Hill?
didn't bring him to bring in Freeman. He brought in him first to face Otani. That's why he brought him in.
Okay, well, okay, that makes it okay. You're right. Yeah, I forgot about that. But
Yeah.
where was Tim Hill? Like, why wasn't he in the game? He could have gotten
Well,
Otani out.
the reason why Boone brought in Cortez is because he liked the matchup with Cortez better against Otani than Hill. Cortez had success against Otani. That's why he brought him
Um,
in, and he
well,
got the out.
he
Um,
did, but
and
y-
and I know some people are questioning, why walk Mookie Betts. Well, that's because the runner advanced to second and third after Verdugo threw the ball in from the stands, which you can't do that. It advances the runners. So
yeah,
the runners were able to advance, and so it was an understandable move to walk Betts, and not only because first base was open, but also it was a logical lefty lefty matchup against Freeman. And it's not like Cortez was struggling; he only threw two pitches. It's just I would say I mean, yeah, you can definitely question Boone on that, but I would say that's probably bad luck when you don't throw many pitches and you come in and then boom, game's over. It's
yeah.
just yeah,
I see your point, but here's Cortez has been pitching over a month, so
yeah,
bringing him in a high leverage situation was questionable. That's
yeah,
why I thought Tim Hill probably made more sense in that situation because he was getting those outs all postseason. So,
yeah,
but that was the first questionable decision, and then Freddie Freeman first fastball he saw click and like, did he just
yeah.
hit that? He did.
I told you I was
Uh,
worried he was going to have a Kirk Gibson moment, and he did.
yeah, immediately Fox and everybody's comparing it to Kirk Gibson in what 88 that World Series.
Yeah, 88.
Yeah, so that was his only at bat in that World Series. I mean, you can see it, his knees were so shot by that point. So,
Mhm.
but it led the Dodgers to that championship. I mean, he was the key to that championship. But
Mhm.
let's see, Game Two was a disaster from beginning to end. Nothing went right. They
Mhm.
they made Yamamoto look like what am I thinking of? They made him look like
Darvish,
who?
you Darvish.
Yeah, in his prime. It made him look like what the hell?
Mhm.
I know Yamamoto's a great pitcher. I mean, he got paid, but I mean, come on. I mean, they couldn't do anything against him. So,
Well, only Juan Soto could.
well, yeah. I mean, he can hit nearly any pitcher in baseball. So, yeah, I don't think he's ever struggled against any pitcher.
Mhm.
But yeah, nothing. Yankees lose again. Game three was again the Yankees' offense was dead until 2 outs in the
In
ninth.
fact, Joe's performance was awful.
Oh my god, what was that? What the hell were
Yeah,
they thinking? Just bringing him out there, and it seemed like he forgot the words of the song too. It was
yeah.
like he was trying. It was embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you said like, oh well, that's a bad omen or somebody. I'm not sure it was
I was
you or
I was saying he's fucking blowing it. That's what I said.
oh, okay, yeah, no. So I saw somebody else say, well, that's a omen for the rest of the game, and it was. I mean, the Yankees lost brutally again, and the
Mhm.
offense was dead until 2009 when Verdugo hit that home run. I'm like, are you
Mhm.
kidding me now?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, if Glaber walks or gets on Juan Soto, there's a chance to tie this game. Of course, Glaber grounds out and the game's over. But it's like, okay,
Mhm.
we're down 3-0. The series is over. And I honestly thought we were going to swept. In fact, I made that thumbnail saying we were going to be swept because I thought, oh, yeah, it's over. The team is dead. They have no chance. And and then they were down 2-0. Freddie Freeman, forgot to mention him. He hit home runs in game 3 or 4, bring 3 and 4 in the first inning.
Mhm.
2-run homers, identical. It's like
Yeah.
in game 4, I'm like, did he just do it again? He did. Like,
Yeah. I was like that too. I was like, no, he did it again.
yeah, he did it again. I'm like, okay, so I understand why the Yankees pitched to him. It's the first inning. What are you going to do? Walk him? Pitch around him? I mean, then Tarasco Hernandez has also been hitting well, so it's like you got to pitch to him. Click
Mhm.
2-0, both
Mhm.
games. Like okay, the fifth. Then what was it? The fourth or the fifth when Volpe hit that grand slam? I forget, but
The
it
fifth.
was.
It was in the third inning of the fifth game.
Uh, I thought it was game 4. He hit the grand slam.
Game 4 is when they lost 4-2. Game 5 is when they finally came alive. They won 11-4. Oh wait! You're right. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're right.
that's what I thought.
Yeah. Game
Yeah,
4 is when they finally came alive.
they broke through in game 4, and
Yeah.
Indy Gibson was going against Eckersley. Yes, that's right. It was Eckersley, and somehow it hit that home run. The only game at bat. Hey CBC, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
So the Yankees won 11-4.
Yeah. 11-4.
I forgot the score already because Game
Yeah.
5 is so brutal that I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
11-4.
so
Game 4. Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, Cole's on the mound. If he does what he's supposed to, is the ace. We're going fucking we're going to LA for Game 6,
Yeah.
and Game 5 happened, and so far so good.
Mm-hmm.
So far so good. They're up 5-0. Cole's on the mound. I'm like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to LA for Game
Yeah.
6.
I was
Even
thinking sure as well.
yeah, it's like okay, and Game 6 most likely would have been a bullpen game because Yamamoto wasn't going to the 7th game because he needs that extra day of rest since he's from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be another bullpen game. And game 5 turned out to be a bullpen game too because Flaherty only went an inning and 2/3. So it turned out it was a bullpen game too. So it was like we have an excellent chance of getting this to game 7 until the 5th inning. So let's get Judge hit a 2-run home run, Stanton hit a solo shot, and Jazz Chisholm hit home runs. So that's the 5
And
runs
then
there.
Verdugo hit an RBI single.
Okay, that's the 5th run. So
Well, first it was Judge, then it was
yeah,
just then it was Verdugo,
Chisholm.
then Stanton.
Yeah, Chisholm hit a home run too, and so that was the 5 runs. Then here comes the 5th inning. This is this honestly was one of the worst half innings of baseball I ever seen,
Yeah.
and I've been watching baseball since like the early '90s. I mean, it's and the Yankees were bad then. I mean, they were a joke by night, but yeah, I digress though. I mean, that was one of the worst half innings of defense I've ever seen, and it started with okay, so I think somebody hit a single. I do
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah. It was. I think it was either Kike Hernandez or Will Smith. I think it was Kike Hernandez who got the first hit, but
Yeah, somebody got a single,
it was Kike
and
Hernandez.
yeah, okay, then
And then Gavin Lux hit what Judge should have caught that ball on, but
yes,
dropped.
and then Gavin Lux hits that ball to center,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking, "Oh, that's the first out." So I'm looking at my phone,
Yeah.
and then next time I look over, I hear groaning. It's like, "What happened?" And the ball's rolling behind Judge. Like, he just dropped that ball. He
Yeah.
did, and they show the replay. He's looking at the run at first, like, "Okay, what is he doing?" And he does this, and like, what's the first thing you're taught in Little League? Look the ball into your glove or use both hands. That's what you're taught when you're
Yeah.
7, 8 years old. Judge is like, oh, let me look at the runner at first. I'm guessing he's trying to throw out the runner at first to get the double play. Like,
Mm-hmm.
get the sure out, and then you worry about that. And who cares? It's the first out. Garrett Cole's dealing. You're gonna win the. You're gonna be fine. You don't need to force double play there.
Yeah.
So that was terrible. And then after that, you had runners on first and second. Then I forget. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the names of these
It
guys,
was
but
Will Smith who then,
hit the grounder to Volpe,
yeah.
right? And then he threw the third. It was in the dirt, and Jazz Chisholm couldn't pick it up. Oh, another error. Great, and that's the second error of the inning.
Mm-hmm.
And
But
then
then
Garrett,
got two strikeouts.
he
And I was
strikes
like,
out.
we're actually going to get out of it.
He
And then
strikes out.
Mookie Betts hit that ground ball for first. At first, I was like, yes, there we
The
go.
inning's over.
And we saw what happened. I was like, what the fuck?
So I'll describe it. So Mookie Betts hits the ground ball to first, and Cole for some reason started running to first and then stopped and started walking towards the dugout. And then he pointed to Rizzo like this, that, and Rizzo was like, "What the? You're supposed to run here. I'm gonna throw it to you." And safe run scores.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Freeman hit a 2-run single, and then Teoscar Hernandez hits a double at a gap, and the game's tied. So
Yeah.
Garrett Cole had 5 unearned runs, in that inning. And it
Yeah.
wasn't actually the most egregious error was Garrett Cole. I mean, he has to run to first. He
Yeah.
has to.
That's on him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most egregious one to me. It's
But
like,
he
yeah,
shouldn't have been in that position, to begin with.
no, Judge dropped the ball, and then it's like the Yankees. I put it in the title. They choked. That 5th inning was a choke job. It's a
Mm-hmm.
straight up choke job. They were
Yeah.
up 5-0, ready to go to Los Angeles because Garrett Cole, if later he came out and pitched another inning and a half or 2 innings of dominant baseball, he was
Another
fine.
and 2/3. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he was
was
fine.
terrific. Yeah. He was. Yeah.
He's absolutely fine. And I'm like, he could have gone 8 innings and then handed the ball to Luke Weaver in the ninth.
After he walked Freeman, he was done.
Yeah, I mean, but let's say, I'm saying if that 5 runs didn't happen, if it's like
I
6
get what
nothing.
you mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so he could have probably gone 8 innings and handed the ball to Luke Weaver in the ninth, and we'd be going lost. We would talk. We wouldn't even be here. We'd be waiting for Game 6 tomorrow.
Yeah.
But and then that's a bullpen game, and very likely Yankees would have won that game too because the bullpen would have been like exhausted, and then Game 7 anything could happen. So, but of course, here's the thing: Yankees take the lead with a Stanton sacrifice fly, so it's 6-5. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, well, with our bullpen, we have a chance to close this out and get out of this disaster. So Cole comes out he came out after 7. He ended after 7. Who came in after him was Clay Holmes, his 6 2/3. Yeah, Holmes pitched.
With 2 outs in the 7th.
Yeah, and he got out of it. And here's my thing. This is another, I think, mistake by Aaron Boone. It's like, why not have Holmes come out and start the 8th?
Yeah, that's
Or
what I heard Michael Case say earlier today.
uh-huh.
Should have. I could understand because Holmes didn't look very sharp in that inning. He was throwing balls. He was throwing wild. He was lucky to get that strikeout of Muncy there. But I could understand.
Muncy got himself out.
Yeah. And
Yeah, that was not a good pitch.
I knew Tommy Kingley was going to come out in the 8th. I mean, he has been their 8th inning guy.
Yeah,
I don't know if you and I really saw him shit the bed like I don't know if we could have seen that coming. It's just the problem. I remember you mentioned it a few days ago. I think it was a week ago.
Yeah, when we did the preview.
Stop throwing changeups. Like, where's your fastball? Where are your other pitches? Why are you just throwing the changeup? Like,
yeah, I've never liked Tommy Kahnle in high leverage situations. I mean, I've never been in love with him, even though he has great numbers and stuff. But I was like, we're going to Kahnle. Okay.
If he's gonna just keep throwing changeups next year, then I want him gone because that is not going to work.
Isn't he a free agent?
I don't know.
I have to look. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a free agent. Yeah. I mean, I have to look at the free agent list later. We're going to look at it later, but
to respond to Indy, the reason why it looks like this is because it's my window and blades are right in front of me, and it's dark outside. So
Oh,
that's why it looks like that. So
yeah.
uh,
So okay. Uh, Gay die. So let's see. So I would have either
well, let me
brought
see
in.
if I can lighten the screen a bit. Let's see.
Yeah, because it's tough to see you at times. So I figured it was a lighting issue, but
Let's see. Hmm. Just give me 1 second. Is it better?
let me see. It looks a little better, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks a little better, but let's see. So again, that Canely move bothered me. I'm like, if you're gonna go, either bring out Holmes or have Luke Weaver come in with a clean inning,
Mhm,
have him get the 6-out save because
mhm.
so Canely loads the bases,
Well, because
doesn't.
before you finish, I just want to say
Yeah,
Boone didn't want him to go originally go 2 innings is because he had pitched 2 days in a row. So that would have been a little too much. Unless if you're Mariano Rivera, I don't know if
yeah. I
any.
was just gonna mention him. It's like, well, Mariano Rivera did 6-out saves nearly every game in the
Yeah.
playoffs. So, but yeah, I get it. But
Mhm.
you have an off day today. It would have been the off day
Yeah.
before Game 6. So
Yeah.
I would have gone to Luke Weaver and it's like, if you're gonna
Well,
beat me,
he
you
probably
beat
should
me
have
with my
brought him to
best.
control. That's probably when he should have brought him in, brought Tim Hill in, in the eighth
Yeah,
inning.
who was coming up? What there's some lefties, right?
Yeah,
For
but
the
he can get
Dodgers.
righties out too. We
Oh,
saw him get.
I know. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not. I've never been comfortable with Canely. I don't know. It's not just even during the season. It's like okay, he's good. He has good numbers, but I'm just never comfortable with him.
Yeah, but
So
I'm not blaming this loss on Boone. I'm blaming it. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Did my camera just change again? Oh, okay. Wait. Hold on a second. Oh, whatever. Anyways, what I was going to say was, I don't blame Boone for this loss. I mainly blame the loss on that fifth inning, how the defense just choked, and then Canely shitting the bed. Those were my reasons as to why they lost the game. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, but Canely loads the bases. Here comes Luke Weaver. Is like, oh yeah, get us out of this impossible situation. Bases loaded, nobody out.
mm.
Honestly, he gets 3 outs. He doesn't get but two sacrifice flies and 7-6, and that's
But
your
then he
ball
came
game.
back out in the ninth, and he looked like he looked gassed out there. So
He did eventually had to come out, and I think Mark Leiter Jr. finished the ninth.
yeah,
But yeah, but he did look gassed, and I was like, ugh, because I'm thinking he's a starter, and and he's stretched out, so it was like he should be fine. But it's like he definitely looked gassed in that ninth inning. Like he had nothing more to give. And Mark Leiter came in and got out of the ninth, and the bottom of the order come up and against Walker Bueller. Walker Bueller came in to finish up, and
yeah,
the Yankees went down 1-2-3 without a fight. I
yeah.
mean, they went down like meekly, and it was like there was no chance.
No,
So did they all strike out, or I'm trying to think
no.
here.
I
I
think
know
who was the first? Wait, so the
it
first
would have.
guy,
It was
I think Volpe grounded out
yeah.
first,
It was Volpe, Wells, and Verdugo.
and Wells and
7-8-9.
Verdugo struck out
They
afterwards.
struck out. Yeah, and it's like there's 2 outs. Like I'm hoping one of these guys get a hold of a ball because Walker Bueller just pitched 2 days ago, so it's like he has to be he has to make a mistake, and of course he doesn't. Oh, and the Yankees they got themselves out, especially Wells and Verdugo. I mean, they're chasing pitches in the dirt like really like you just gave up and just did that.
Mhm.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah,
But that fifth inning was an utter humiliation and embarrassment, not just for the Yankee organization, but for all of baseball. Because
yeah.
Major League Baseball promoted this World Series like it was the two best teams
It
in
was supposed
baseball.
to be an epic World Series, but
Yeah, the two heavyweights going up against each other in an epic back and forth World Series. That didn't happen.
no.
Yankees didn't show up. And when they did show up in games 4 and 5, and they won game 4, 5, it was like they were about to win until they all imploded, and they just choked it away. They did. They choked it away. I don't. And I know there's people that'll say, well, I mean, the Dodgers were way better. Not really. I mean, they were in every single game. They were in it. They were
I
in
just,
game one.
I just think Dodgers fundamentally were better than the Yankees. I mean,
Oh
they
yeah,
just
no doubt. Fundamentally, they were way better than the Yankees because they actually work on their fundamentals. You can tell. The Yankees don't. For years, has been a problem. And when people leave the Yankees and they go to other teams and they talk about the Yankees, like they don't do anything. It's not even practice really, and they just they just do little batting practice and then they leave. It's like, wait, where's the
yeah.
fielding practice? Where's the nothing? They don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, and I was reading this somewhere else where
I know where you're going with this.
yeah, there was a coach that would handle all the practices and for the
Oh,
Yankees.
I thought you were going to talk about where someone said the Dodgers scouted the Yankees
Oh yeah, yeah,
during
yeah.
the World
Yeah,
Series.
that too. I mean, there was an article. I forget where I was reading this too, and the Dodgers were like, "Holy shit, the Yankees are a bunch of idiots." I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they gave us their they scouted their analytics is like, damn, their outfield positioning is horrible. Their defense is horrible. They can't do anything right. How did how the hell did they get to this World Series? I mean, but they can't do anything right, and they refuse to. I mean, they're stubborn. Brian Cashman calls analytics the best in baseball. It's like, no, it's not. The Dodgers do it better. The Rays definitely do it better.
Mm-hmm.
Astros definitely do it better.
Yeah.
Uh, most teams in baseball do it better. They do it better. And the Yankees, they allegedly spend all this money on analytics, but it sucks. And I forget who runs the analytics department, but he sucks too. I mean, because
Now, of course, the Dodgers are still in LA. Why do you think they would move now?
no sympathy. By the way, the Dodgers still in LA. I used to be a Brooklyn Dodgers fan. Or I had a Brooklyn Dodgers pin, but I gave it to my boyfriend. Yeah, they moved out of Brooklyn in 57 or 8 or something like that. And they've been in LA ever since. There's a long story about Dodger Stadium and how they basically kicked out a bunch of Mexicans from their neighborhood in order to build Dodger Stadium. It's called Chavez Ravine, but that's a whole
Chavez,
nother story. Yeah,
uh,
yeah. So that's a whole other story to get into. But
mm.
they they kicked out a bunch of Mexicans from their neighborhoods and and built Dodger Stadium there. But yeah, I mean that's your World Series, ladies and gentlemen. Just we were humiliated on national TV if you're a Yankee fan, because that World Series was the highest rated World Series since what 2017 when the Dodgers got beat by the Astros. I mean, usually the World Series aren't rated that high because look at the last few World Series. The Rangers and Diamondbacks last year. I'm sorry, but nobody cares outside of Arizona or Texas, so that wasn't highly rated.
Mhm.
So the Braves a year before that, who did they play? I
No, it
can't
was
remember.
before the 2022. It was the Astros and Phillies.
Yeah, Astros and
That one was at
Phillies.
least a little more interesting.
Yeah, but 21 was the Braves and
Braves
the
and
Red
Astros.
Sox
Yeah,
or Astros. Yeah, the Astros got beat again in the World Series.
yeah,
So that was Freddie Freeman's first championship. He
yeah.
goes to the Dodgers and wins another one. Obvious World Series MVP, by the way, Freddie Freeman. So I was not surprised when he got that trophy. It's like he should have. By the way, I want to congratulate the Dodgers. I'm not a bitter Yankee fan here. I am bitter, but they were the better team and they kicked our asses.
And like I
And
said before, at least the Yankees lost to the Dodgers rather than the Mets because
I would prefer. Mhm.
if they had lost to the Mets, us Yankee fans wouldn't hear the end of it.
No, no. The entire offseason will be
Yeah.
brutal.
But what's
And
really stupid is that I've been reading some tweets from Mets fans on Twitter. It's like, "Hey, at least we've got the game 6 against the Dodgers. You did, and Mets run New York now." Like, what the fuck?
you got your asses kicked too by the Dodgers.
I don't understand it. I was telling you that you know, when I was saying originally, you know, people say Yankee fans are the worst, and then I was saying, well, maybe I'm wrong about that. No, no, now I take it back again. Mets fans are the worst.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. It's like Oh well, we got to Game 6 against the Dodgers. You got your asses kicked.
And they're
Sure.
saying they're going to sign Juan Soto now. Like, you don't know that.
Yeah, you
Obviously,
don't know that.
Steve Cohen, I get it, he's rich, but he hasn't gotten everyone you wanted, so you don't know that.
Now, I want to get to Juan Soto because the loss was a gut punch. It was brutal. But Juan Soto's interview after the game was like a dick punch, and I'll explain why to me. Because I saw that interview, and
Yeah,
Juan Soto was completely stone faced, and they asked him over and over, "Oh, do the Yankees have an advantage?" It's like, "Oh no, no, no! All 30 teams have a chance to get me." And no, 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 no. I mean, he was completely like didn't give the Yankee fans anything. Like, "Oh yeah, the Yankees have a chance. They have a better chance." No, nothing. It was like a dick punch. Like, I get it. It's a business, and I understand that, but it's like I feel like I got punched in the dick after after what Juan Soto said there. And it's not, I get it. It's a business. I'm not mad at him for saying that. And he should get as much money as possible from the Yankees or from any team.
same thing with Garrett
But,
Cole after the Astros National Series. So
but Garrett Cole did something even like more. He took off his Astro cap and put on the Scott Boras Corporation
yeah,
hat, his agent. So he was done with the Astros at that point. Because if you remember, he wasn't pitched. AJ Hinch
yeah,
never put him in the ninth inning.
we were supposed. We thought AJ Hinch was gonna use him in Game
He
7 out of
didn't.
the bullpen, but he didn't. So
Yeah, so he was pissed about that. I mean,
yeah,
and I don't blame him because it's like you have Garrett Cole was the best pitcher in baseball that year,
yeah,
and
and I still think he should have won the Cy Young that year instead of
yeah,
Verlander. I mean, I know Verlander was amazing that year too, but Cole he went like 16-0 in consecutive starts and had the most
yeah.
strikeouts, and to me he was more dominant.
So
Dominant
at least he got his Cy Young with the Yankees in
yeah,
20 last year, not yeah,
last year.
in
Yeah.
23. Even though Yankees missed the playoffs and 82 and 80 and embarrassed themselves again,
Hmm.
but at least he got his Cy Young that he deserved that year too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Juan Soto punched me in the dick, but I understand it's a business. And all 30 teams ever because he has to say that. Because let's keep it
Yeah.
real. If he says, "Oh yeah, the Yankees, I
What,
want to
what,
be a Yankee the rest of my
what he
career,"
said was, I don't want to discuss that right now. You know,
yeah,
just
at least that would have been. I understand.
that
Like
was
he's like,
the
nope.
bad loss and all that stuff.
He did
That
say, and then he went, "Well, all 30 teams have a chance to get me. I'm not. Nobody's a favorite. Blah blah blah." So this entire offseason will be where will Juan Soto sign? It's just
mm,
like Garrett Cole a few years ago, and just like Shohei Ohtani last offseason. It's like
yeah.
where, and like now the entire offseason will be focused on that,
Hmm.
and it's like, oh, so brutal. Every
Yeah.
day I'm gonna be looking at my phone, it's like, okay, where's Soto signed? Did he sign? Who did he sign with? Because quite look, I mean, we can get to that Soto thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Hal Steinbrenner is kind of, I don't know whether he's going to play in that 50, $60 million a year range, which is what going to take to
That
get
would be
Soto probably.
Brian Cashman's job, I think.
No, I know, but ultimately, the ultimate approval has to come from
Yeah.
Steinbrenner. It's a lot of money. It
But I think
isn't, Brian
should.
Cashman could want him, but
Every Yankee fan wants him back. They should, if they have the money, they should do it.
yeah,
They
I
had no.
agree. They should.
They did everything it could to bring back Judge. They should do that with Solo too. So
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know because Judge is making 40.
mhm.
Soto's going to demand at least 50 or 50 to $60 million for a contract per year. So, because Boris wants him to make more money than Shohei Ohtani, because Shohei Ohtani is supposed to make 70 million a year, but he really doesn't. Most of his contracts deferred until after he retires. So, according to what I was reading, the present value of his contract is like 52 million a year. So is Boris wants Soto to make more money than 52. So it's like, okay, well, we had the largest contract in baseball without deferrals. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Soto isn't going to accept deferrals because when in the Nationals offered him 445 million, he turned it down because I'm sure it's full of deferrals because the Nationals love the deferrals. And they in their most of their big contracts there's always deferrals in it. So
Mhm.
and when Soto turned down 445, I'm like, I, I don't know how I could turn down four. If
I
I'm a,
think it was a little less than that. I think it was some. He turned down something like, I don't know, 350 million or 340 million or something. Yeah, I
I
think it
thought it
was a
was
little.
445. He turned down a lot of money though, whatever the number was.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think it was over 400 million.
Yeah, let me look into that. Oops, Soto contract. Uh, oh, he turned down a 15-year, $440 million contract for the
Oh,
Nationals.
okay, you're right. All right.
Yeah, that's
That's
what I thought the number was.
okay.
So how do you turn down 440 million? That's crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, unless he didn't want to be a national, but he said he loved it there, so he won a championship. So it's like, but 15 years, 440, and he has to get more than 440. If you turn down 440 and gets a little bit more than that, that makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I suspect he's going to get anywhere from 550 to 600 million, maybe 650,
Mm-hmm.
ending of, let's say the Dodgers bid on him and the Mets and the Giants and the Cubs maybe are in on it. All of a sudden that number is going to rise. It's going to rise a lot. And that's when I'm concerned the Yankees aren't going to play in that territory anymore. They might just bow out like, yeah, we're not going to go up there. And we have all these holes in the roster too, so they might say we're out. And that's what I'm worried about because I will not get my offseason will be disastrous if Soto ends up on the Mets.
Oh my
Because
god.
because um because Steve Cohen offered a ridiculous contract to him and he couldn't turn it down.
Mm-hmm.
That would be brutal. Because
Yeah.
now we never hear the end of it from Mets fans. You see, we told you we are gonna get Soto. Now we have Soto, Lindor, and, and all this great team. We're gonna do things and blah blah blah. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're gonna lose your first baseman because unless Steve Cohen pays a bunch of money to Pete Alonso, I don't see how you retain him. So
Mm-hmm.
the Mets still have a lot of holes in their roster. So they got
Yeah.
Soto's like great, but there's a lot of holes there too. So there's no guarantee that it'll make the playoffs. So let's see. Well, thank you very much. Happy Halloween. Well, thank you. Hope I'm doing well. All right, so we have a few club options or player options. Garrett Cole has an opt out this season, even though the Yankees do have a clause that says if they give him an extra year, they can cancel his opt out,
Yeah,
which
I
I'm
think
sure the
I
Yankees.
think he's staying with the Yankees. He's either gonna, he's either gonna um, stick with the deal or he's gonna opt out and look for a bigger deal from the Yankees. Either way, I think he's staying with the Yankees.
No, but the Yankees have a clause to say if they give him an extra year at 36 million, they can void his opt out.
Uh,
So, so I mean, they're probably gonna give him that extra year in order to avoid that opt out.
yeah,
So Anthony Rizzo has a $17 million club option. There's no way they're picking that up.
he's gone. He's gone.
No, there's no way the Yankees are picking that up. Lou Trevino has a $5 million club option.
He's probably, unfortunately, he's probably gone too.
Yeah, I don't see the Yankees picking that up. Luke Weaver has $2.5 million club option. They're definitely picking
I
that
can
up.
I can see them picking that up for Luke Weaver.
Definitely. He's
Yeah,
their closer. So they and at 2.5 million, he's super
unless they
cheap.
can find another great reliever, but
Well, they're
yeah,
gonna pick up the option, and then if they find a closer, like a more established closer, then Luke Weaver can very easily be the setup guy,
hmm
or they could switch him back and forth, as a
yeah,
closer.
yeah.
So let's see who else is. So there's pending free agents here. Tim Hill's a free agent.
Mm.
If they can bring him back on a cheap deal, I'm sure they'll try to bring him back. Clay Holmes is a free agent. I think he's gone. Like he's gonna get. There's gonna be a team that gives him money because even though he led the majors in blown saves this season, but he still has that bowling ball sinker, and
Yeah.
so there's gonna be a team that takes a chance
Well,
on
he's
him.
probably not going to be the closer anymore.
Oh
So,
no, no,
granted,
no.
if
So
the
the
Yankees bring him back, he won't be the closer anymore. So,
no, if the Yankees do bring him back, Tommy Kahnle's a free agent. I don't see how they bring him
yeah,
back.
I don't think he's coming back. As much as I
No.
really liked him, he became a liability. So,
Yeah, he was a liability, especially when he stopped throwing his fastball for whatever
yeah,
reason.
yeah,
Uh, Jonathan Loizaga is a free agent. I don't see
yeah,
how they
he's
bring him
gone.
back.
He's gone.
I mean, he's
He's
too
playing
injury
for
prone.
4 straight seasons. You can't bring him back.
He's too injury prone. I mean, he was good. He's good when he's healthy, but he just gets hurt and he misses. He's missed multiple seasons now due to injury.
Mm-hmm.
Juan Soto obviously is a free agent. Hopefully they bring him back, but that's up in the air.
He
Gleyber
also,
Torres,
never mind. I'll let you continue.
Gleyber Torres is also a free agent. I don't see how they bring him back, especially since they got Jazz Chisholm. They can
Mm-hmm.
move, they can slide him over to second base, so they're assuming that he's not coming back either. And
Yeah.
Alice Verdugo is a free agent, so I don't see how he comes back either. To be honest, especially with Jason Dominguez is most likely to
Yeah.
take over left field next season, and the
Mm.
Yankees like to save money, so it's like, isn't I don't think he's coming back either.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean those are your free agents. Let's see. The Garrett Cole options. There's also John Birdie, Tim Meisen, and Trent Grissom are all, arbitration
Mm-hmm.
eligible. So they probably would offer arbitration to all these guys. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know who JT Baker is. I don't know who he is. I mean,
I don't
is he
know.
hurt? Apparently, he's arbitration eligible. So I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
He must have been on the team at some point this season.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Soto is the top prize. And, he he had a career year with the Yankees. So let's
Mm-hmm.
see. Yankees have significant financial resources, but outbidding Steve Cohen and New York Mets, who are widely expected to pursue Soto, will be challenging. Cole has an opt-out clause to enter free agency, despite having 4 years and 144 million remaining on his contract. However, the Yankees can retain their ace by exercising an option to extend the deal to 2029 for an
They
additional
might as well just
36
do it.
million.
I mean, just they should just do it. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do it because they don't want to risk losing him in free agency.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that Boris is gonna like want him to opt out, but the
Mm-hmm.
Yankees do have that clause for a reason. So
Mm-hmm.
they knew he would try to opt out. So it's like, yeah. So they're definitely giving him that extra year. They did the same thing with CC Sabathia when
Yeah.
he
I
had an
was
opt
thinking
out.
of that too.
So yeah, so they gave him an extra year at whatever that number was,
Yeah.
25, 26 million. I forget what it was, but uh, so if the Yankees decline Rizzo's $17 million option, which they will, they
Mm-hmm.
need to find replacements for multiple relievers, starting first baseman, second baseman, one of their primary outfielders. We're trying to negotiate a mammoth side deal with Soto. Well, yeah, duh. They're going to shift Jazz Chisholm back to second base. I mean, they're not going to play around trying to bring back Labor and Juan Soto too,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not. So left field most likely take over by Jason Dominguez. I don't see the Yankees actually spending any real money to bring in a left fielder. And if Soto's gone, you can move Judge back to right field. And who plays center? I don't know at that point. Maybe Trent Grisham. They'll try to play him at center.
Maybe they'll get Teoscar Hernandez. I think he's a free agent. So
Yes, he is a free agent. But they'll bring him in, another power guy. I mean, but he plays right field though, or left.
so then you can have Judge play center field again and Teoscar. You know, we've seen Judge
Yeah.
has no problem playing center.
No, he
So
has. Yeah. So the only reason why I'm concerned because I don't want the Judge is a really big guy and playing center field and running around especially center field at Yankee Stadium. It's a huge center field, so
yeah.
he's getting older. So I'm kind of concerned that his body may not hold up.
Do you think
But
Jason Dominguez plays center field then, or
I think that's his natural position. But he was so horrible defensively. I don't know whether the Yankees
but
would.
maybe that's why maybe he should play center field then. Maybe
That's his
either way.
natural position, though. Maybe he'd be better in center field.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's possible. They could move Judge back to right, have Teoscar Hernandez in left, and stick Jason Dominguez in center.
Yeah.
And you would have Judge, Teoscar Hernandez, and Stanton. But again, you had the same problem you always do. They're all right-handed power bats. You don't have the
Yeah.
left-handed power bat anymore.
Sure, yeah.
Again, so unless you're expecting Jazz Chisholm to hit a bunch more home runs, maybe that'd be your left-handed bat. But
Mhm. Yeah.
which he is a home run hitter. I mean, he hits a decent amount of home runs. It's
Mhm.
just that I don't expect him to do that. I wouldn't
Mhm.
want him being like your left-handed power bat. So
Yeah.
because he's more of a gap-to-gap guy. At least that's what I would see him as. I don't really want him swinging for the fences.
Mhm.
And let's see. So The Braves traded Jorge Soler to the Los Angeles
Oh yeah,
Angels.
I saw that. Yeah,
Well, good luck to Soler in Los Angeles or the Angels because they suck. They've sucked for
they
years.
just had the worst record ever.
Oh god, they were awful this year. Well,
Yeah.
they weren't worse than the White Sox. Nobody was worse than
No, but I
them.
meant
But
franchise history. The
yeah,
Angels
yeah,
were worse.
yeah, they were horrible. So, I feel bad for Mike Trout. He's been stuck there his entire career, and
Trout should have never gotten a contract to stay with the Angels. He made a huge mistake.
I agree, but it seems like he's loyal to a fault to the Angels
Yeah.
organization because Otani didn't even sign a long term deal. Like as soon as
No.
he became a free agent, he fucked off and he's like, "Oh
Mhm.
yeah, I'm going to the Dodgers for that massive contract," and immediately wins a championship in his first season.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't hit well in the World Series, I mean, he only
No.
went like 2 for 16, so it wasn't like he
Yeah.
was a big factor. But Freddie Freeman was like the star of that team, in the World Series. So Rizzo's gone, Trevino's gone. I think Weaver's back. A lot of these guys are gone. Here's the thing: the Yankees will look completely different next season. Even if they bring back Soto, they'll look completely different.
Yeah.
So even especially if Soto's gone, I mean, they're gonna look completely different. They're
Mhm.
gonna have so yeah, most likely they're gonna need a third baseman, a first baseman. They're gonna need an outfielder or two, depending of what happens to Grisham. But they're gonna need a
And
bunch of bullpen arms.
yeah.
What?
No, no, you just said it. Bullpen arms. Yeah.
Oh, and they're gonna need a bunch of bullpen arms too. So, especially with Kaylee gone
Does
and
Stroman have an opt out for
oh
this
no, no, he has a guaranteed 2 years. So
Oh,
we're stuck with Stroman. And Strom and look, and I like him as a I like him. I like his personality. I like he has the perfect mentality for New York, but his fastball is like 88 miles an hour now. I mean,
yeah.
he's cooked. He's That's why he didn't even pitch a single inning in the playoffs, and
Yeah.
he was barely on the roster. I mean,
Mm,
for a reason. I mean,
yeah.
to expect him to get made hitting, expecting him to get guys out in the playoffs was not a realistic possibility.
Hmm.
It's unfortunate because I like him as a person, but he has 2 years and like 20 plus million left. The Yankees are paying him 18 million a season for the next 2 years, guaranteed. So congratulations, you just guaranteed a guy a bunch of money when he's pretty much cooked.
Hmm.
So let's see. I'm gonna see. So these are according to Bleacher Report, some targets the Yankees could target. Donovan Solano. So he hit 286 with 343 on base percentage and a 417 slugging percentage and
Who is he
309
again?
plate
I've heard of
appearance.
the name, but who is he again?
Donovan Solano, he played with the Padres this season.
Oh. Was he
He's
a
36.
catcher or what? Or
He's an infielder.
infielder?
Yeah. So he's with the Padres. He's 36 though, so I'm not sure.
Oh.
He had a good year, but I don't know whether unless you're bringing him on a short-term contract, and I can definitely see the Yankees doing that, especially if because
Hmm.
he's more of a gap-to-gap slap hitter. So his OPS plus is 112, so he's above average.
Hmm.
So that could be an option, especially at third base or something, unless they bring in Alex Bregman. But he's a big fish though up there at third base.
Yeah.
Tanner Scott, who's a reliever. Scott could be out of Yankees price range. He represents the lights out left-hander the bullpen missing this season. He had a 1.75 ERA with 1.13 WHIP and 10.5 strikeouts per 9 innings and 72 appearances with the Marlins and Padres, while having 22 saves and 11 holds, earning his first All-Star selection. It might take something like a 4-year, $60 million contract to get him signed. 24. That's like nearly 20 million a year for 4 years. And he's 30 years old, so I'm not sure Brian Cashman would love to do that because Brian Cashman usually shops for pitchers, in the dollar store. I like to say, you get a bunch of dollar store pitchers, and
Hmm.
Matt Blake turned them into stars, all of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Yankees would do that. Honestly, they would probably bring in cheaper guys. Oh, Adam Ottavino is still around. I thought he retired.
No, he was still with the Mets. Um,
Okay, he made 60 appearances for the eighth time in his
but he
career and
didn't have
fourth
a
in a
good year.
row. posting a 4.34 ERA and a 1.29 WHIP and 11.3 strikeouts per nine in 60 games. That's 4.34 is not really a good year. Yeah, you're right. The slider specialist spent 2019-2020 season with the Yankees. Even at 38 years old, he's still a solid bullpen piece with ample late inning experience. Yeah, that 4.34 ERA is kind of high,
Yeah.
especially Yankee Stadium when had the short porch and right. That's going
Hmm.
to be kind of if he's going to have a tough year if they bring him back.
Yeah.
Spencer Turnbull. Turnbull went 2-0, 1.67 ERA with 32.1 innings and 6 April starts for the Phillies after signing a 1-year, $2 million deal in the offseason. Despite that success, he was shifted to the bullpen once Taiwan Walker returned to action and continued to pitch well in a multi-inning role to the end of June when he suffered a lat strain that kept him sidelined the rest of the season.
That
He offers
Taiwan Walker contract for Phillies looks really bad now.
Oh, he's been really bad since he came to Philadelphia. He offers an intriguing buy low upside that ability to fill a variety of roles in the staff. Well, I mean, he was nice. He had good numbers as a starter, and he hitched well in a multi-inning role. So I could see Brian Cashman doing that. So these are some of the trade targets the Yankees could target. Brandon Rogers, second baseman for the Colorado Rockies. Rodgers has never lived up to being a third overall pick in the 2015 draft, but he's been a productive player when healthy. He won the NL Gold Glove at second base during a 4.3 WAR season in 2022, and he hit 267 with a 314 on base percentage and a 407 slugging, with 29 doubles, 13 homers, 54 RBIs, 135 games. He would team with Anthony Volpe to form one of the best defensive infields in baseball. Again, it depends what it would take, but I think that's the reason why they got Jazz Chisholm. I don't really see them going after second baseman like that.
Yeah.
Volpe, I still can't believe Volpe won a Gold Glove. I just don't think he's that good defensively. I mean, unless I
He's
mean,
really good. It's just he's not perfect, but he's really like compared to when we had IKF a couple or year ago and a year before that.
yeah, he
Opie
was
is
awful.
so much better, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm just not I'm not really that like. Yeah, I mean, he's a Gold Glover, you can say, but I don't know. To me, I never saw him as that. Hell, maybe. I mean,
No,
maybe I'm
I've seen
wrong.
him make a lot of great plays since he's became shortstop. So,
Yeah.
um,
So an infielder, Luis Rengifo. I don't know how to pronounce that name from the Angels. He's an infielder. He represents a more offensive-minded infield addition. I bet one with ample experience playing second base, shortstop, and third base in the big leagues. He had 300 with 347 on base percentage and a 417 slugging for 116 OPS plus with 20 extra base hits and 24 steals in 78 games last year, even though he was sidelined with a wrist injury. Could be an interesting pickup, especially if he can play some second, short, and third. I mean, I'm sure Brian Cashman would do that because he likes those versatile players who can play multiple positions.
mhm,
So he'd be a nice pickup. It'd be interesting. I mean, even though it doesn't say anything about his defense, but the Yankees were horrible defensively this season, and that
yeah,
showed up in Game 5. So we already got into that.
mhm,
Pete Fairbanks to Tampa Bay Rays. Nope, forget it. Don't trade with the Rays. I mean,
yeah,
they know they can get rid of players at the exact right time.
yeah,
So Pete Fairbanks, he did pitch well this season, but he had 48 saves. Let me see. The Rays would consider trading Fairbanks to one of the division rivals, but he would bring plenty of late game experience to the Yankee bullpen after tallying 48 saves in the past two seasons. The 30-year-old has a team-friendly $3.7 million salary for the 2025 season and a $7 million club option in 2026. No, thank you. The Rays, they know what they're doing when they move their guys
mhm,
and immediately suck once they leave Tampa. So there's multiple. You can list a laundry list of guys who were great in Tampa and then sucked when they got traded. So they know what they're doing. So nope.
mhm,
Austin Adams from the Oakland Athletics. He's a reliever. armed with a lethal slider that generated 39.3% whiff rate last season, Adams has the stuff to be a solid setup option. The 33-year-old has the best season of his career in 2024 with the Athletics, posting a 3.92 ERA. That's really high. 11.5 strikeouts for 9 innings and 56 appearances, while tallying 22 holds as one of the club's top late innings arms.
Or could the Yankees possibly get Mason Miller or trade him or possibly get him? That
Yeah,
would,
I mean, I don't like that 3.92 ERA, and the A's were bad last season.
yeah.
So, I
But Mason
mean,
Miller, what if it was him?
yeah. So this is according to Bleacher Report, at least their projected 2025 opening day roster. So they would have Donovan Solano playing first base. That's interesting. So they're assuming Juan Soto will come back because he's in right field. Judge in center, Stanton as the DH, of course. Jazz Chisholm at third base. Brendan Rodgers at second base.
Wow.
Austin Wells the catcher, Jason Dominguez in left, and Anthony Volpe in short. So that would be the opening day starting lineup if Bleacher Report is correct. I don't think they get Brendan Rodgers. Again, Jazz Chisholm is a natural second baseman. They only
Mm,
put him at third because Labor was a second.
yeah.
So that makes no sense.
Mhm.
Donovan Solano playing first base, I don't buy that either. They most likely they're going to use one of the guys in the minors to play first base. They have some. So the Yankees going to go cheap. Jazz Chisholm be at second base. They'll use one of their top first base minor leaguers to play first. Who plays third? That's up in the air. Oswaldo Cabrera maybe will start the year at third, and then if they need to trade for somebody, they will at the deadline. But Ben Rice, of course, I forgot about him. Ben Rice will probably be the first baseman next season because it's not going to be
Yeah,
Anthony
he
Rizzo.
struggled during his time, so I just don't know if the Yankees are willing to take that risk. If he did really well, then I would say go for it, but I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't get a first baseman and he has a solid spring training, then maybe make him the first baseman to start the year. But
Mhm.
he showed flashes of what he can do, but he
Yeah.
did really struggle, when he was up here. So the bench is Jose Trevino, Ben Rice. It says here infielder, outfielder Oswaldo Cabrera, and Trent Grisham would be the bench guys. And the starting rotation would be Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, Nestor Cortez, and Luis Hill. So the Yankees don't make any major additions to the rotation. So where's Marcus Stroman go? Hold on, let me see. Bullpen?
Oh no, I think he's going to be back in the rotation.
Yeah, I'm talking about Bleacher Reports on
Oh,
projections. But
okay.
I don't even see him here in the bullpen. What are they going to do with him? Release him? They're not going to release him. I mean, he has 2 years guaranteed. He's not
Yeah.
even on here. That's weird. They must have missed him because the rotation is Cole, Rodon, Clark Schmidt, Nestor Cortez, and Luis Heel. Honestly, if they went into the year with that rotation, I'd be fine with it. But
Mhm.
they need big years from Clark Schmidt, Luis Heel, and Nestor Cortez. I mean, they need them to have great years. Rodon needs to be more consistent, and Garrett Cole is going to be Garrett Cole. I mean, especially if he's healthy all year, which he wasn't this season, but Garrett Cole's going to be Garrett Cole. So the bullpen is Spencer Turnbull, Tim Miza, Jake Cousins, Ian Hamilton, Adam
It's Mesa.
Ottavino,
That's it's not Miza, it's Mesa.
Mesa, okay, Jake Cousins, Ian Hamilton, Adam Ottavino. I don't see them bringing back him.
No.
Mark Leiter Jr., Tanner Scott, and Luke Weaver as the closer. So yes, I definitely see Chase Holmes. Is it
Clay.
Chase Holmes? Clay Holmes. I forget. I'm terrible with names. Clay Holmes is gone. I mean, I don't. I mean, he's going to take a lot of money to resign.
Mm-hmm.
So this roster projection includes the Yankees releasing DJ LeMahieu and trading Marcus Stroman in a cost-cutting move. Okay, so that makes sense. I, or do they release LeMahieu? He has like
No,
2 or 3 years left.
he was on the injured list.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, would they
No,
release
they
him?
still had him. They still had him.
I know, but I'm saying, would they release him? And this
Oh, but
projection has them releasing him. I don't think so. He
I
has
would.
multiple years
If
left.
there's a chance, I would because DJ LeMahieu is he's just not
No,
that
he's
good.
washed up. I mean, he has foot injury. He has constant foot problems, and
Yeah.
when he does play, he's been awful. And especially this season.
Mm-hmm.
So they're assuming that the Yankees would release DJ LeMahieu and trade Marcus Stroman in a cost-cutting move. I could definitely see them trading Marcus Stroman
Mm-hmm.
for what? maybe a bag of beans. It doesn't matter. But if the team's willing to pick up most of that salary, they'll definitely do it. So because Brian Cash made a mistake there. And the only reason why they signed him because they couldn't get Yamamoto, so they needed another starter. Which is okay. So you go from Yamamoto to Marcus Stroman. I mean, I like him as a person. I like his personality, but he's just that's such a bad move for Brian Cashman.
Mm.
At one point, Marcus Stroman blocked me on Twitter when he was with the
I
Mets.
know
So he
you mentioned.
unblocked me, but once he joined the Yankees, he unblocked me. But he's like he blocked me on Twitter. I think I made fun of him after a bad start and immediately blocked me. You see,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's the projections. I mean, my projection would be um, again. I don't know. I'm really struggling with the Juan Soto thing because the Future report says they would bring him back, but I don't think so. I mean, the way Hal Steinbrenner operates, I just don't see them bringing him back.
Mm.
I mean, I hope they do, but
Yeah.
so right now, if the Yankees go super cheap, they can have Jason Dominguez in center or left. They can have Ben Rice at first base. Their third baseman could be Oswaldo Cabrera. They move Jazz Chisholm to second. The catcher is Austin Wells. I mean, they could save a lot of money there. They have a bunch of young talent there, and I could see if he has a good spring training, I could see them taking a chance on Ben Rice. That's if he has a good spring training. So we'll see. But but again, that's if they don't bring back Juan Soto because I know how Steinbrenner wants to save money because he's been complaining about the luxury tax and they're being almost over the second threshold, which means it costs him draft picks and more money.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not his father. I mean, we have to remember that. No matter what, he's not his dad. His dad wouldn't have cared, but he cares.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get the feeling that they're gonna if they don't bring back Soto, they're gonna cheap out and have a bunch of guys, a bunch of the young guys play. So we're looking at possibly like a retooling year, maybe not rebuilding, but kind of like a retooling year next year where there's a lot of young talent, and we'll see and they may have some growing pains, but Judge and Cole aren't getting any younger. So it's like you're really going to waste a year by just not making the playoffs or making the playoffs and get humiliated again in the first round
Mm-hmm.
because the Astros and the Orioles aren't going away. They're probably gonna get better. So especially
I
if
don't know about the Astros though. They that may have been it for the Astros possibly.
they're gonna lose Bregman most likely. Again, I
Yeah.
don't think they're bringing him back. So they still have an aging Jose Altuve, and that roster is kind of aging. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think
But
their
I'm not so
owner.
sure about the Orioles because this was supposed to be the year where the Orioles were really going to improve, but they didn't. They went backwards. So
Well, yeah, they kind of choked it. They choked away the division in September. I mean, they should
and
have
then
won
they
the
got swept
division.
in the wild card round. So
And they got swept they humiliated themselves and got swept in the wild card round easily. I mean,
yeah.
they had no chance against the Royals, which was
And
surprising.
Corbin Burns might not. Wait, Yankees could possibly get Burns. Possibly
He's a
Corbin
free
Burns.
agent. I mean,
Yeah, he's a free agent. Yes.
yeah, I mean, I would like, and Yankees need more arms. I mean, the more arms they have, the better. Even if there's like a competition between Nestor Cortez and Clark Schmidt for that last spot.
Mm-hmm.
Clark Schmidt pitched well. Nestor
Clark Schmidt
Cortez
could go
also.
back to the bullpen, possibly. He's been.
Yeah, that would be an interesting thing because he was good in the bullpen before. So even though they could start, he's a good starter too. But you can definitely like slide him back in that bullpen,
Yeah.
especially if they get another starter or two in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
So the bullpen really needs help though. I mean, even though it was good this year, it was good in the playoffs, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just brutal. It was brutal to watch. Tommy Canely just I never liked him, especially when he became Mr. Changeup. I'm like
Yeah.
the Dodgers especially. I mean, they're not stupid. They have their analytics and they have their coaching staff is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna look at him as like this dude throws nothing but changeups. Just
Mm-hmm.
they tell the hitters just lay back and wait for the changeup. He's gonna make a mistake and then you're gonna tear it up, which is exactly what happened. And he walked guys too, so it's like so they can't bring him back. I mean, I'd be pissed if they bring him back because I've always never really been a fan of his. Because I always
Mhm.
get nervous when he comes into games. He only had a good year, but I don't know. I just I'm not comfortable with him. As a back end bullpen arm.
Yeah,
So let's see. Yeah. So we're looking at a lot of changes for next season. I mean, if you're a Yankee fan, don't expect the same team to be back here next season.
no,
No, unfortunately, I mean, we're gonna. This may be a year where they kind of retool the roster and like, okay, let's just wait a year and then we'll come back. Let's get under luxury tax and then we'll come back next year and spend some money in 2026. But Judge and Cole aren't getting any younger, so it'd be. And look, and I know Judge choked it away. I mean, he that hit that drop is probably going to be his why am I forgetting his name now?
who
The
you
first
think?
the first baseman,
Anthony
Bill
Rizzo?
Buckner moment. No, Bill Buckner moment.
Oh, Bill Buckner. Yeah,
Yeah, the first, the Red Sox when he had the ball get by him, and that's
or
going to be
Luis
his Bill.
dropping the pop up.
Yeah, that's gonna he's gonna remember for that until he wins a championship. If he never
Mhm.
wins a championship, that's going to be part of his legacy, and it's
Yeah,
unfortunate, but that's going to be a part of his legacy. He doesn't win a championship,
and it
so he
sucks
need.
that happened because he made a great catch before that when he
Yes,
robbed
he did.
of
It was a great catch in center field.
and then he drops that ball afterwards. Like
In
what you know?
and and that led to the disastrous fifth inning. So you're looking at that being part of his legacy. I mean,
Mhm.
because he came back to the Yankees for legacy because there were other teams that offer more money. So it's like, oh, great, great, we got Judge back. Had another historic season this season. He'll be the MVP again, but his playoffs were again like mediocrity defined. I mean, he had
Yeah,
like 150 in the entire playoffs. And then in the World Series, he just was a strikeout machine. Like he couldn't hit a broadside of the barn, in the
yeah.
World Series until Game
He
4 when he
became
finally got that base
the
hit.
Trump turn off the lights meme.
Uh huh. Yeah, it wasn't good. I mean, and I talked. I think I said this or something when they re-signed Judge, and I looked at it and it's like he's not a good postseason guy. He's never been. He's never
Mhm.
had one good postseason since he's been up.
Mhm.
So his rookie year, I get it. He's a rookie. I let that go. But the other years, he's been awful in the playoffs.
Well,
And Stan,
2018, he had a great postseason against the
but
A's and the Red Sox.
they didn't last long. I mean, they
I
got
know. I'm
humiliated
just
by the
saying
Red
he
Sox.
still put up great numbers in that postseason.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So that's fair, but he's usually not a good postseason player.
mhm.
And he finally kind of. So I thought he would break out a bit in the ALCS when he homered off Class A,
Oh
but he
yeah.
just. But again, it was media. Again, he got to the World Series and he was just awful again. So it's like,
Mhm.
what the hell's going on? Like I thought he would break out of it finally, and have a big World Series, but he really didn't. Neither did Otani. So Major League Baseball kind of disappointed with that. It was like Judge Otani, who's going to be had better series. They're
Yeah.
both awful, honestly. Otani hurt his shoulder as part of the reason why he was probably
Yeah.
awful. But to be
Mhm.
fair to him, but yeah, I mean that's the New York Yankees. That's your off-season preview because we just did an off-season preview there accidentally, but whatever. So yeah, anything else? Because I think I got everything pretty much wrapped up
We're
here.
gonna do another afternoon episode tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a regular episode tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. And is
So
Witchy coming on?
tomorrow I have to ask her, but if I'll definitely because it is the last episode before the election on Tuesday, so we'll definitely have a lot to talk about.
Mhm.
So I'll ask her probably because she's sleeping right now, probably. So I'll probably ask her tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
So yeah, Angel in the afternoon is tomorrow. Normal episode. We're doing 2 hours, so because I thought, oh man, the Yankees have a game 6. It's going to be tough for
Yeah.
me to do 2 hours. So I don't have to worry
Mhm.
about it now. But I was kind of thinking about what do I do? I'm gonna have to do the hour or something. Oh, I'm not sure you saw it on Twitter, but YouTube took down my last episode I did last
I
Friday,
saw it. Yeah.
like for misinformation. I was like,
Yeah.
didn't explain what misinformation I did,
Yeah.
but it's misinformation. So I was like, oh, geez.
Mhm.
So Yeah, so Angel in the Afternoon is tomorrow at 7 p.m. I'll probably be doing pro wrestling talk on Saturday, me and Steph, so we look forward to that as well. And I think we're going to be wrapping this up because I don't have much else to say. Next time we'll probably talk baseball when Juan Soto signs somewhere, hopefully with the Yankees. So other
Yeah.
than that, I mean, we'll keep up with the off season and see what
Well,
happens. And
there should be a second GTA 6 trailer coming up some before the year ends. We
oh,
should definitely be doing an episode of
oh
that. Like,
yeah, I mean that'd be interesting because if when the first trailer came out, I we did a big Angel in the Afternoon where me, I
yeah,
think you and Crab and Snow came on, and we talked about the trailer and the controversies in the trailer.
yeah,
But we, if there's another trailer, we can definitely look into doing another episode like that
yeah,
because after the election, there's not much going on politically.
yeah.
So unless there's some drama with the election, like
Mhm.
it hasn't been decided yet, because again, Arizona is claiming they need 10 days to count their ballots. So here we go again with multiple days, counting. Pennsylvania is already there's issues there with the ballot with the
I do think Trump's
machines.
going to win this time.
I think so too, and I'll give my final prediction tomorrow with the map. But I definitely think he's going to win he's going to lose the popular vote, but win the electoral
Yeah.
college because
Hmm.
New York and California are the big blue states, and they have the most population, so
Yeah.
they're going to overwhelmingly vote for Kamala Harris and
Hmm.
Tim Walz. So he's going to definitely win the popular vote, Kamala Harris, but she'll lose in the electoral college. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that more tomorrow on Angel in the Afternoon. But this episode, this special edition of the World Series preview, where the Yankees humiliated themselves in front of a massive audience, and Yankee fans will never hear the end of it this offseason, especially if we lose Juan Soto. So it's like we're not going to hear the end of it, but we'll have to deal with it because we'll be back next season and it's a new season and we'll see what happens. But for now, that's all I have to say about the Yankees, and I'm going to move on because we're going to talk. I'm going to sink into politics and the election on Tuesday. So I want to thank everybody for watching, staying up really late for me. If you're in the East Coast, if you're out in West, it's like 10 o'clock at night, so it's not a big deal for you guys. So until tomorrow, I'm gonna make sure you join me tomorrow for Angel in the Afternoon. Make sure you like this stream. Make sure you like Angel in the Afternoon as well.